Welcome to MVP Advanced. This is the home of Mountain View professionals. Yeah, I got a woo right there. Oh, this is going to be so good. You are in for a treat tonight. This is contest night in Canada. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. You are going to have a rock'em, sock'em good time. That's right. My name is Greg Ory. Greg Ory. It's true. Oh, right here. She is picking a fight. We are starting off with a rock and sock'em good time right here. I get to be your sergeant of arms tonight. So let's take care of some housekeeping items. First of all, do you have your cell phone? If you do, I invite you to take a moment right now. Bring it out. What should we do? I know, it's turn it on. Let's turn your cell phones on. Yeah, Darlene says, what? Turn it up to 10. She says, turn it up to 10. Turn your ringers up to 10. That's what Darlene is saying. There's a young lady at the back who has a favorite song. What's a great ringtone that we can download? Can't Sleep, Love by the Pentatonics. That's your ringtone for tonight. That is your rock'em sock'em ringtone for tonight. So go ahead and download that. That means when we have speakers up here and you get a phone call, what are we going to hear?
Can't Sleep, Love by the Pentatonics.
Can't Sleep, Love by the Pentatonics. That's what we're going to hear. Thank you. So go ahead. If anybody comes in late, you grab them and you make sure they turn their phones on. Here at MVP, we really believe in setting our speakers up for success. It is such a big deal when our speakers come up here on stage. At MVP, we don't give that little golf clap. That is just applause. Applause. One applause. Here at MVP, MVP is all about many vocal applauses. It's huge, right? You put that energy out there, you give it to the speakers, and they are going to give it back to you. Let's move on with our second housekeeping item, and you're going to get a chance to demonstrate this huge MVP rock'em sock'em welcome. We're going to move in with the safety briefing. Safety second, that's what I always say. Help me welcome, with a big MVP rock'em sock'em welcome, our floor representative, Matthew Fox. Hey! Yeah! There we go.
Thank you very much, Gregory. Safety second. It's not quite right. Safety first. That's what we're talking about. Safety first. I'm going to cover a quick safety topic. If you haven't been to this building before, the evacuation rules, if there is a reason to leave the building in a hurry, we're going to go out the door here. We're going to go left down the corridor, take the next left, and you'll get to an exit where you'll exit the building, and we make our way around to the car park where we make sure we're all accounted for. So please take notice of who's next to you, and then when you get out there, if it comes to the case, that you do account for the person that should be next to you. Well, a couple other things, if I could, Gregory. If you're going to have drinks in here, that's okay. Please try not to make a mess with the drinks. Please no food in here, though. And at the end of the day, if we can just take our garbage with us, that'll be great. And I want to cover a quick value creation topic, which isn't tied to safety necessarily. And Gregory's already talked about phones. Can you just get your phone out, please? Yeah. Now unlock it. Now give it to the person next to you. You hesitate. Why do you hesitate? What have you got on your phone? Have you ever lost your phone, misplaced your phone? People can get into your phone. What have you got on it? Bank details, credit card details, personal details, photos. Within Fluor, there's thousands of attacks, data attacks into our system daily. And we have incredible systems to block them out. But what do we do on a personal front? Whether it's our phones or it's our home computers, look after your data. Make sure you're safe. If you're going to put stuff on your phone, have a lock. How many people don't have a lock on their phone? I don't know. Certainly we have to. But just have a think about it. It's just make sure it's important. the moment you do lose it and your data gets lost and someone corrupts your accounts, you're going to go, if only I listened to Matt. And with that, I'll hand back over to our Sergeant at Arms.
Yeah, there we go. Well done. That was a big MVP Rock'em Sock'em. Thank you. We're going to applaud everybody all the way up here, and we're going to applaud them until they get back to their seats. We have quite a night. We have so many speakers. How many speakers do we have? We have so many speakers. We are going to be here till 11:30 tonight. It's true. It's true. But to speed things up, we're going to bring up 2 speakers at a time. That's right. We have a big stage. Madam Chief Judge, is that correct?
I don't think so.
No, she is disputing. She's fighting me on that. She is a Rock'em Sock'em Chief Judge. So you'll take a look at, if you take a look at your agenda, you will see that there is no break in the midst of the speeches. So once the speeches start, we are going to go into lockdown mode. Nobody leaves, nobody enters. It's going to be quite a while. If you have to go to the washroom, speak now or forever hold your pee. There will be a minute of silence between each of the speakers. That if you need to leave and use the washroom or for whatever other reason, use that minute of silence, please, not when the speakers are speaking. To exit or to enter. There is a door at the back as well. Speaking of washrooms, just out this door, you see those 2 elevator banks? There's a his and a hers. So use those. No, she says no. No, she's fighting me on that as well. So just go past the elevator banks, turn left. Follow the sound of the flushing. That will get you there. I saw an earlier version of this agenda, and it had me up here for 15 minutes. And I thought, boy, what have you folks done to deserve that? Well, here, I'm going to cut you a break here. My time up here is almost done. I'm going to turn control over to our contest chair, and at this time, I'm going to introduce him, but I'll invite you to start making your way up here. Have you heard of or been to South Korea? Yeah, a few people. Yeah, a few people have heard of it. South Korea, nice town. That's right. Yeah. So this small town. That's right. This young man is the president of this club. He's the contest chair. He comes to Calgary from downtown South Korea. Please help me welcome our very own soul man, John McDonald. There we go. There we go.
And yes, I was a giant over there. No, you're taller. All right, my job is fairly straightforward here. The little bits that I would like to say is welcome to the contest tonight. You'll notice on the agenda that in some spots it says evaluation speech contest instructions and stuff like this. That's not why we're here tonight. We're here for the International Speech Competition. We have 7 contestants here, and I'll introduce the order in just a moment. The first thing I'd like to do to start the session here tonight is to talk about the Toastmasters mission. The mission of a Toastmasters club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. International speech competition, personal growth. The people that are competing here tonight have an opportunity to reach the world stage. And for some of the people in this room, it's been done before. So I'm very excited about what we're getting into here tonight. The order of the speakers here tonight first speaker is Larry Dixon. Number 2 is Jocelyn Hasty. Number 3 is Mark Kolke. Number 4 is Brent Hopkins, sorry. Number 5 is Flo Sherpanis. Number 6 is Russ Dantu. Number 7 is Leonard Quilty. And Shelley Musfelt is not speaking tonight.
Anybody?
People are speaking tonight. From the top, Russ is number 6, Larry's number 1, Jocelyn's number 2, Brent is number 4, Mark is number 3, Leonard is number 7, and Flo is number 5. At this time, I'd like to pass the floor to our Chief Judge, Carol Dyke.
Welcome, everyone. Look at the full house. I can't believe it. Every time I come here, it's an event. It's not just a regular meeting. It's a big event. And a packed house, too. Okay, International Speech Contest. All the contests require rules, and the rules are the same from club level all the way up to the international level. Very same rules for everyone. I'm going to only go through a few things. The contestants and the judges have all filled out their eligibility forms, and they are all good to go. Everybody's honest and signed up. We will be picking the top 3 winners in the contest. I just want to remind everyone that between each speaker there will be 1 minute of silence, and I know this will be repeated again a bit later. I want to give the timing for the International Speech Contest. The timing is 5 to 7 minutes. This is the intended length of the Toastmasters speech. The green light comes on at 5 minutes, stays on for a minute. The yellow light comes on at 6 minutes, stays on for a minute. And the red light comes on at 7 minutes, and it stays on until the speaker has finished speaking. No indication that their time could be up. There are disqualifications if a speaker is less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds or greater than 7 minutes and 30 seconds. I think that's all we need to discuss. Everyone's been to contests before. Anybody have any questions? And John, we're good to go on.
Good to go, and so bring up our Mr. Toastmaster.
Ray, yes. Let's welcome up Ray.
Are any of the speakers expecting to use the lectern? So I'll move it out of the way just after. Yes, I guess we can do it now. Well, hi everybody. I'm Ray Mulvihill, and I'm your contest Toastmaster. They didn't give me any time, so I guess I just won't say much. We've got a very exciting program. We've got some very well-trained and some very interesting people to speak to us tonight. And so we'll start by calling the first speaker to the front. Our first speaker, Larry Dixon, Missing in Action. Missing in Action, Larry Dixon.
You may or may not know that I have been missing in inaction for quite some time because I have not wanted to be here with you. It's not you, it's me. I was warned by the doctors and my mother who nursed my father through 2 open heart surgeries that depression could set in. Not me. I'm no stranger to depression. In the late 70s, in 1980, I was an alcoholic. The alcoholism made me depressed. I drank to get rid of the depression. It became a vicious cycle until I tried to end my life by drinking myself to death. I'm a professional clown now. And an inspirational speaker. I do what I love. I love what I do. I have a great wife and a great life. I have nothing to be depressed about. Yes, I had a heart attack. One the doctor called the Widowmaker. Apparently, I wasn't supposed to survive. Open heart surgery followed. They said depression could set in. Not me. If it did happen, I would kick it in a month or two. Over 2 years later, I sit and cry like a little schoolgirl. The Grim Reaper had come to call, and I had kicked him to the curb. I should be elated. Instead, I'm depressed. I don't expect you to understand. I don't understand it myself. I don't want your sympathy or your pity. I want you to understand depression is real. Look around the room. There are probably people here who are depressed to one degree or another. And maybe it's you. I'm sorry, I'm done. I'm sorry.
One minute. Speaker number 2, Jocelyn Hasty, evaluation. Evaluation, Jocelyn Hasty. Please announce your title.
My title is Legend of the Latin Lover.
Ooh.
Has anyone else in this room ever developed a crush on someone from afar? I don't think anyone in this room will be surprised to know that I am an all-or-nothing kind of person. As an adult, I discovered a passion for horses, Peruvian horses in particular. And I immediately set my sights on competition in the performance division, where the horse and rider partnership are evaluated on their ability to perform a variety of maneuvers effortlessly. In my very first class, we finished second and qualified to go into the championships, where only 2 placings are announced. The reserve champion, or second place, and then the champion. To my surprise and delight, we were reserve champion. My first time out, I had arrived. I became very well known on the Peruvian horse circuit for second place finishes. If there were 2 horses or 20 in the class, I was usually the bridesmaid, never the bride, for 6 years. At the finale of the 7th year of competition, I loaded up my little horse, Colorado. We were headed 15 hours in the trailer to Cloverdale, BC. The judge there was my very favorite, the Honorable Jose Rizo Montes, affectionately known as Don Pepe. He was flown in from Lima, Peru, especially for this event. His family had been at the pinnacle of the Peruvian horse world for generations. Did I mention Don Pepe stands 6'3", incredibly handsome, impeccable manners, irresistible Spanish accent? To no one's surprise, Colorado and I finished second, qualifying to ride in the championship. When we entered the gate, he was with me all the way. It was like a magic carpet ride. The serpentines were beautiful. The circles were flawless. The figure eights, incredible. We always had a little issue, though. The forward maneuvers were wonderful, but standing still, backing up, walking calmly were always a bit of an issue. And for once, he was with me. He walked calmly. He stood still. The announcer called to back 5 steps. He backed 1, 2, 3, and stopped. Directly in front of Don Pepe, who I was pretty sure could count to 5. I resigned myself to yet another reserve champion and waited to listen for Colorado's name. But another horse was called as reserve champion. I was crushed. We hadn't even placed. But then a miracle happened, and RJT Colorado Royale was Canadian national champion performance gelding. The next day, I accepted Don Pepe's invitation for lunch. I peppered him with questions about Peruvian horses. Then he stopped me. You were surprised when I made your horse a champion. Yeah, that's true. Why? You saw the mistake we made. We were right in front of you. Ah, that is true. But you, my friend, judge like a North American, and I am Peruano. Peruano is the Spanish word for Peruvian. And I thought about that for a moment. And then I responded brilliantly, huh? North Americans select the horse that makes the fewest errors. Peruanos select the horse that has the most moments of brilliance. I had 15 hours on the way back from Cloverdale to understand the real message in Don Pepe's words. I began to evaluate all the times in my life when I judged on errors. As I began to recognize and remark on the moments of brilliance of my friends and family, I developed deeper connections and less conflict. Even closer to home, my judgmental self-perception that had once been so sticky became far less troublesome, and I gave much more mental time and space in reliving my own moments of brilliance. I believe that the legend of the Latin lover has its basis in the Peruvian method of judging. The secret? To find your partner's unique appeal and remind them of it frequently. Caress their souls by reminding them of their own particular brand of brilliance. My friends, I believe this world would be a better place if we would all judge less like a North American and more like a Peruano.
One minute. Our third speaker, Mark Kolke. How did they fake that? How did they fake that? Mark Kolke.
When we start life, when we have that first birthday, what do we know about life? We're just little babies. And then later we become toddlers and we move along through life, and our opinions and views of life are formed by whom? The house we live in, the parents we have, and in my case, the radio. That was it. I had no siblings, only my parents. So they formed me, and I get to blame them. But the thing that happened to me in our neighborhood as I got to be 2 and 3 and 4 years old is I got to play with the kids in the neighborhood. And that was great. Because in those days, in the 50s, so many families had lots of kids. So there were lots of kids to play with. And I would go to their house and we'd play and we'd have so much fun. One down the street had a TV, but otherwise it was just like my house, except it wasn't like my house. And sometimes I get invited for dinner or to sleep over, and I would get to see these kids in action with their family. And particularly the parents, how they treated each other and how they treated their kids. And then I would go home to my house and things were different. And I wasn't sure what it was, because I was this high, and I didn't really understand life. So you start trying to figure things out with the intelligence and learning you have. Couldn't figure it out. Then along would come another birthday. And I have an August 7th birthday, so it's always in the summertime. So we had these big backyard birthday parties with all the kids in the neighborhood. And there'd be a picture in the family album, a chair with my birthday cake and me in my t-shirt and shorts, and this big whack of kids behind me. And I have all of those up to the age of 5. And some things started to change that year. A lot of things happened. My grandfather died, but nobody told me. And I didn't get to go to the funeral. I didn't understand that. My grandmother then came to live with us, and we had to move houses from this neighborhood with all these kids to another neighborhood I didn't know with fewer kids. My world was changing. Oh, and my dad was in an accident. He was burned at work and spent months in the hospital, and he was near death, but nobody told me. He recovered at home. Oh, yeah, and that's the year he got AA, because my dad's an alcoholic. And he got AA, and along with that, my mom got Al-Anon. And again, nobody told me. Nobody explained it, because I'm 5, right? And what do you explain to a 5-year-old about things like that? And how does a 5-year-old see all of this? You try to figure it out. I must be adopted. I don't know what was going on. But there were no more birthday parties. And there wasn't a lot of fun. And there weren't a lot of kids to play with. But I tried to make the best of it. My 6th birthday was coming up. What do you want for your birthday? It should have been, Mark, what do you want for your birthday? But when there's no other kids, you're at the dinner table, your parents look at you and start talking. They're talking to you. I want a bike. I want a 2-wheeler. Like all the other 6-year-olds. But of course, parents of an only child don't want to spoil a child. And my parents didn't want to spoil me. They told me they didn't want to spoil me. So I would have to wait. In fact, we made a deal that I would save money to pay for 1/3 of the bike next year. So as my 7th birthday was approaching, the inevitable question, what do you want for your birthday? A bike! No, we know that. We've been to the store, we know what color to buy and so on, but what else do you want? I want a wallet. A wallet? Why a wallet? To put my money in. Okay. The inevitable day comes. It's August 7th, 1958, my 7th birthday. My mom, my dad, my grandmother, and me, and a cake, a bike in the backyard with a bow on the handlebar, and a wrapped package on the table. So after dinner and cake and candles, I get to rip open the package, and I run, not to my bike in the backyard, but to my room, put my money in my wallet, fold it, put it in my back pocket, and come back into the kitchen and say, I want my birth certificate. Why would you want your birth certificate? Identification to put in my wallet. But you'll lose it. No, I won't. But you'll lose it. No, I won't. This went on for quite some time, and there were tears. And it wasn't just my grandmother's tears. It was not a joyous birthday. Yes, I rode my bike that night. I spent some time in the neighborhood. And then I'm in bed. My dad comes in to console me about 9 o'clock. My parents never came in to console me. If anyone did, it would be my grandmother. She was so sweet. My dad came into my bedroom and he handed me something called my birth certificate. Never lost it, by the way. Province of Saskatchewan. August 7th, 1951, my birthday. And my name on it. And the first thought I had was, how'd they fake that? How did they fake this bloody birth certificate? Why? Why did I have those feelings at 7? I was just a child in an ordinary family with an only child, a recovered alcoholic father, a codependent mother. But it wasn't the 80s yet. They hadn't written about codependency. We didn't know that. That condition hadn't been invented yet. But it was our life. So what's the lesson I've learned as a parent and now as a grandparent about how children see the world? Their eyes are bigger than, their eyesight's better than ours. And their hearing is certainly better. So they see and hear how their parents parent, how life is lived in their house. And if it's different than the other houses down the street, they'll notice. We need to pay attention to these little ones. And if you don't have little children, maybe you'll have little grandchildren, or maybe even big ones. Tell them the truth. Mr. Toastmaster.
One minute. Speaker number 4, Brent Hopkins, Turning My Frown Upside Down. Turning My Frown Upside Down, Brent Hopkins. Speaker number 5, Flo Sherpanese, The Hike. The Hike, Flo Sherpanese.
In 2001, I had the perfect life. I had a great job as a nurse, a nice house, and someone who loves me. His name was Derek. On paper, we were a match made in heaven. And to us, heaven was hiking in the Rocky Mountains. I always admired how fit, fast, and strong Derek was in the outdoors. At the time, I wasn't as experienced and didn't fully trust myself. I wanted to be at his level. I wanted him to take me under his wing and help me get to that next level. On every hike, he'd set the pace, and I kept up for about the first 10 minutes. Hey, Derek, do you think we could hike together sometime? I just can't go that slow. Come on, keep up. He never cut me any slack. It was like having my own personal P90X trainer. And I was pumped. I thought, what a fantastic way to become better. For us to become closer. I knew every relationship takes hard work and sacrifice. Oh, and Derek pushed me hard. And every time he did, I thought, see how he cares for me? He wants me to be fitter, faster, and stronger. He sees potential in me. After about 4 years of intense P90X training, we were on a hike one day. By now, I was able to keep up for almost 30 minutes before falling behind. As I hurried to catch up, I suddenly heard thrashing behind me and, oh, oh, oh! It sounded like King Kong. I know, this is Canada, and we don't have giant gorillas, but we do have bears. This is it. I'm going to die as King Kong's lunch. And I was carrying our lunch. Where was Derek? And damn him for having the bear spray. I had never felt so terrified. Go, I yelled, and threw my water bottle at King Kong. Startled, King Kong lumbered off into the woods. Eventually, I reached Derek, and I got an earful. Why are you so slow? Thanks to you, I'm getting cold. And you've got my lunch. You know, if you weren't my girlfriend, I'd easily find someone else to be with. Wow, you really know how to make me feel special, Derek. Oh, stop being so sensitive. Can't you take a joke? The more his words cut, the more I bristled. He had no idea I was almost King Kong's lunch. Slowly, I realized I felt safer face to face with King Kong than I did with Derek. At least King Kong would have appreciated me as a delectable morsel. Derek just chewed me up and spit me out. That's when I knew. For him, it wasn't about protecting and encouraging me. It was about making himself look good by telling me all the ways I wasn't good enough. Later that night, when we got home, I figured, since Derek loved hiking so much, I told him, take a hike. My perfect world crumbled out there in the middle of nowhere. Breaking up is never easy. I felt lost and confused, as if I had been through a blender. But it wasn't till about a year later, driving to the mountains, when it hit me. Yes, I had spent 4 years with a man who treated me like monkey meat. But really, I was trapped in a hell made up of the lies I told myself. I believed it was better to be with someone than no one at all. That lie kept me with him for all those years. So often I felt like a failure. I mean, haven't all of us felt like failures at some point? But when I looked through my hiking guidebook, I realized I had done many of the hikes in the area. It was me, carrying the gear, huffing and puffing to the top. I'm actually so glad I met King Kong, because he freed me from the hell of my lies. Who knows where I'd be if we hadn't met? I think we tell ourselves lies because the truth is hard to hear. I get that. The truth was, I wanted love, even if I had to lie to myself to get it. Today, I work as an educator, tutoring kids with learning disabilities. It's about making reading less of a mystery to them. I focus on empowerment by helping them get to that next level. But the most important lesson I'm still learning is that I am the only person I need to be good enough for. Where before I needed someone to tell me I was good enough, now I know I am enough. We are enough. Because in life, we might find ourselves in the middle of nowhere. But in the middle of nowhere, we might just find ourselves. And isn't that what really matters?
One minute. Speaker number 6, Russ Dantu. 4 weeks. 4 weeks, Russ Dantu.
Have you ever had a really bad day? A day where everything goes wrong? A day you wish you could do over? Mr. Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, picture this. You wake up, you roll over, you look at the alarm clock. No! It didn't go off. You jump out of bed, you quickly get into your clothes, you race downstairs, you pour yourself a bowl of cereal, you open the fridge, there's no milk. Great! You hop in your car, you're racing to work, but you're behind the guy that's busy with a shaver in one hand and a Starbucks in the other hand, driving with his knee. He pulls up to a stop sign and stops. Buddy, those signs are only suggestions. And you finally arrive at work, late. You're frustrated. You walk in and your boss is standing there and gives you an earful about being late. And everything else you do that day goes wrong. Your only saving grace is at the end of the day, it's Monday, and you don't cook on Mondays. You're going to pick up some food. You pull into the McDonald's drive-thru. Welcome to McDonald's. Yeah, I'll have a Big Mac burger and some fries and a large Coke, and please hold the pickles. Yeah. You get home, you relax on the couch, you turn on the TV, and you take a big bite out of that burger. No! They put extra pickles on my burger! And all you can do is throw your arms up in the air and say, why is this happening to me? Have you ever had a bad day like that before? Or something similar? Sure, we all have. But do you let the little things bother you? I used to let the little things bother me. I was the guy that complained about every little thing that went wrong. And then just a year ago, that all changed. Something happened. And now the little things don't seem so bad. I was 14 years old when I met Donna. And for the next 23 years, we were the closest of friends. We worked together in the trade show industry. I had 2 kids. She had 2 kids. I went through a divorce. She went through a divorce. And we worked out of town together a lot. And when we were there, we always found ourselves talking about our kids, what was going on, what was good, what was bad, our challenges, our successes in life. Donna's oldest son, Tyson, 26 years old, a Red Seal chef. He was such a good chef, he could make a vegetarian want to eat his steak. He was also a recovering addict. Last spring, he decided to go to Kelowna to visit his father. One night, he went out drinking, and somebody passed him some fentanyl, and he died. I didn't hear the news until a week after the funeral, and I picked up the phone right away, and I phoned Donna, and I said, Donna, I am so sorry about Tyson. She goes, I know, Russ, we all are. We thought he was doing really, really well. I said, I need to see you. She goes, I would love to see you, but my mom just had a massive stroke. And I said, oh, Donna. She goes, give me 3 weeks. I should be able to see you then. 3 weeks later, I called her. I had already found out that her mom had passed. And I left a message, and I said, Donna, I need to see you. Give me a call back. Didn't hear anything, but I thought she needed more time. A week after that, I get a call from Chuck, our old boss. He said, you heard the news about Donna? I said, I heard about her son, Tyson. I said, that's awful. He goes, no, not that news. I said, I heard about her mom. I said, I can't believe all she's going through. He goes, no, the news about Donna. She has 4 weeks to live. What? She has stage 4 brain cancer. She has 4 weeks, Russ. And she's not taking any visitors. I'll keep you in the loop. What would you do if you had 4 weeks left to live? 4 weeks later, I found myself sitting in the throngs of people at the funeral home, listening to the tributes to Donna. It was the last one that touched me the most. Donna's youngest son, Mitchell, 22 years old, and he stood up there with so much poise and courage as he spoke. And he said, I've lost my brother, my grandmother, and now my mom. When we were growing up, my mom always said, every moment matters. And I got to tell you, the last 7 weeks, I've sure come to realize that. All I see is people complaining about their lives when they should be focusing on the things that are truly important. Bam! It hit me. It was like he was talking directly to me, because I was the guy that always worried about the little things in life. It was the wake-up call I needed. The next time you're having a really, really bad day, I want you to think about everything that's good in your life. Think about the people that aren't having such a good day in the grand scheme of things. Think about the people that may not be here tomorrow. And think about the people that you love. Because in an instant, our lives can change. Maybe we should all start living our lives like we have 4 weeks left. Because every moment matters.
One minute.
Speaker number 7, Leonard Quilty, indispensable advice. Indispensable advice, Leonard Quilty.
Okay, just imagine. You've got your dream job in your hometown. You're surrounded by family and friends. Your place of work is 50 feet from the Atlantic Ocean. You drive by every day, the water is lapping on the shore. It's an idyllic kind of scene. Beautiful, beautiful scenery. Mr. Contest Chair, ladies and gentlemen, that's where I found myself 14 years ago, teaching French in my hometown of Placentia, Newfoundland, and Labrador. For 2 years I was there. Had an interview in May of the second year for the full-time job. I was excited, couldn't wait. Just being around my family and friends was just so awesome. Then I get a phone call, week before school ended. Leonard, we gave the job to somebody else. I didn't know what to say to the guy. The rest of the conversation was just a blur. But there was one thing he said at the end of that talk that really stuck with me all these years later, 14 years later. He said, Leonard, if you want to hold on to your job, your next teaching job, I've got some advice for you. I'm all ears, sure. He said, Leonard, what you want to do is make yourself indispensable. I said, what do you mean, indispensable? I knew what the word meant, but what do you mean? He said, Leonard, be so good at your job We cannot help but hire you back. Make yourself indispensable. Whoa, that got my attention. How do you do that? How do I, what, did I think I was a good teacher then? Yeah, I was good. Could I improve? Absolutely. But I knew I had to make some changes. And when I think about the notion of change, I think about what Viktor Frankl once said, the famous author of Man's Search for Meaning. He said, when we're no longer able to change the situation, we're challenged to change ourselves. So I knew I had to make some changes to try to become at least a little bit more indispensable. Hold on to a job. So what do? I started reading. I started increasing my reading. Started reading books, self-help books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. How to use more group work in my teaching, because that was the first reason he gave me for not getting the job back. So things like that. How to be a better teacher. And so I find myself these days often in bookstores and libraries, and when I think about books, though, I think about a quote from Helen Exley. She once said, "Books are dangerous." She said, "The very best books should be labeled, 'This could change your life.'" Wow, powerful words. So I'm at a Chapters bookstore a couple of years ago. My wife calls me, "Leonard, what are you doing?" "I'm just looking for another self-help book." "Jane?" I said, "Leonard, looking for another self-help book? You've read like hundreds of those books." "Which I have." I said, "Besides, they all say the same thing, don't they?" I said, "Yeah, kind of." She said, "Leonard, what you want to do?" She said, "I'm going to give you some advice, Leonard." I said, "Yeah, sure, Jane, I'm all ears." She said, "Leonard, it's time for you to stop hiding behind those books. Stop hiding behind the books and get out and do what they're telling you in the books. Start using some of those principles." Whoa, that got my attention. That really got my attention. One of those self-help books I read was called I Dare You by William Danforth. It came out many, many decades ago. I Dare You. So about a year ago, I dared myself to start my own YouTube channel called Motivation in a Moment. And so I started posting some videos, posted half a dozen videos. Then over last summer, I got distracted by life and work and things, and I stopped posting videos. So I find myself in September teaching in Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, the city of Mount Pearl, teaching English. About 2 weeks into the month, middle of September, one of my grade 7 students puts up his hand in class. I said, "Yes, Adam, I think his name was. What is it?" So he said, "Mr. Quilty," he said, "last night I subscribed to your YouTube channel." I said, "Really? Wow. How come you did that?" Like, no, I didn't say that. I said, "Really? Okay, thank you." He said, "But I want to give you some advice on that." I said, "Yeah, sure." He said, "You haven't posted a video in 6 months." Whoa, got my attention too. I said, "Okay, yeah, I'll start doing that." And I started doing that, posting a video every week since September. And then week before Christmas, it was my last day of work, December 21st. I was retiring that day and talking to my grade 7, saying goodbye, and a girl was sitting up in front of the class, and she raised her hand. She said, "Mr. Quilty," I said, I've subscribed to your YouTube channel as well, but she said, "I want to give you some advice on that." Sure, why not? She said, "You post one video a week. Why don't you post 2 videos a week?" Okay, I'll do that. So now I'm posting 2 videos a week. It's a lot of fun. I think it's important for all of us to really, sometimes in our lives we need to make changes. And I found, for my own life, the answers to those changes are found within the covers of great books. And I just want to conclude with a story that kind of ties into my first story I started with about my job loss in Placentia. About 5 years after I lost a job there, I find myself teaching in Alberta. Got offered a job in Okotoks at the Center for Learning at Home, teaching French. Go figure. Lost my French job in Placentia, but got a job teaching French in Alberta. About 2 years into that job, I was rating French courses, teaching French courses. 2 years into the job, I get an email from the French coordinator, Sharon. She said, "Leonard, I want you to come and talk to the French teachers about what you're doing with online French." I said, "Sure." So I go do a presentation. About a week later, I get a card in the mail, inter-office mail, a card from Sharon. I open up the card, and she's saying, "Leonard, you did a great job. I really appreciate that." And then it was the last sentence on that note that really, really pulled at my heartstrings. She said, Leonard, tu es indispensable. You are indispensable. Wow, that really, did that make the time away from my family in Newfoundland a lot more easy to take? Yeah, you bet. It really did. I'm going to go back to that quote from Helen Exley about books being dangerous. Yeah, I think she's definitely right, because those books have changed my life.
Silence till the chief judge leaves the room. Oh, the pressure's been awful. 46 Toastmasters confined to a room and forced into quietness for 75 minutes. Now, in a short time, our Sergeant at Arms is going to announce a break. But I'm afraid what'll happen. And so before that happens, we need to get it out. And so for 10 seconds, everybody in here, just to release that pressure before we have a break, just go blah, 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 blah. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our Sergeant at Arms.
I like that. I want to see another one of those Rock'em Sock'em MVP. One more time. There we go. I love that. Thank you, Ray. Mr. Chair, we are scheduled for a 10-minute break on here. It is 8:24 on my watch. How long do you want to go for right now?
5 to 7.
5 to 7? So enough time for a speech. Have you been to those events where they call for a 5-minute break and it stretches out till 10 minutes? Or they call out for a 10-minute break and it stretches out to 20 minutes? Well, we can't do that tonight because Emma Glover is on a tight schedule. She will hunt you down. So head out to the kitchen. There's lots of food out there. Thank you to everybody who brought snacks. Go out there, have a rock and sock 'em. Great fellowship time. Come back in at 8:31. Fantastic. There we go. Yeah, hammer time. Oh, welcome back. Did you have a rock and sock 'em fellowship out there? Yeah. That was some great food. Brent, I had to loosen up my girdle a little bit out there. Yeah, fantastic. So you went out there, and it's break time, so of course you turned your cell phones off when you're out there. So you came back in here. So remember, we're going to take our cell phones out. We're going to turn them up as loud as they'll go. And Nimue, what was that song?
It was Can't Sleep Love by the Pentatonic.
That's right. That is our ringtone. If you haven't already downloaded that, go ahead. It's a pentatonic song.
When do we start calling each other?
Right now.
When or what?
Yeah, exactly. When or what? Nimue, thank you very much for that. Didn't your dad tell you not to talk to strangers?
No.
And who would be stranger than me? I am not going to be invited back. Here's your bonus safety tip. If you see Matthew running out of this room, just follow him. Just forget about whatever is going on, just follow him out there. We're going to move in with the last portion of our meeting. And I'm going to call our Toastmaster back. So as he's making his way up here, I'm going to introduce him to you. He is a Rock'em Sock'em Toastmaster. He has so many great life experiences. He has a Rock'em Sock'em slow-mo walk. He has done so much for the Toastmasters community. He is somebody who I look up to. Please give a Rock'em Sock'em MVP welcome to Ray Mulvihill.
You know, when God made our Sergeant at Arms, he threw away the mold. But I've been checking this last while, and I think some of it grew back.
Do you want to call in the dignitaries?
Yeah. Oh, no, you will.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, so I'll give him a second introduction as well. We have some dignitaries here to welcome. These are people who are at the district officers. So first of all, our Area 27 Director, Lynn Herzog. And we also have our Club Growth Director for all of District 42, Dunstan Taylor. So they are visiting us. We do have 2 area directors who are members here, Josephine Choi and Cheryl Dust. All right, you ready for that big slow-mo walk up here again? Big MVP, rock'em sock'em welcome for Ray Mulvihill.
I love the gavel. If I try to get control of an audience and yell at them or whistle or something like that, it's something irritating, and I feel bad. But when I use the gavel, everybody gets mad at the gavel. It's wonderful. We've just seen some pretty remarkable presentations over the last 75 minutes. And now it's time to get to know each of our contestants a little better. Larry Dixon. Larry, it says your favorite quote. If at first you don't succeed,
Try again.
there.
I guess I'm going to have to try again. Did I win? Yeah.
And how long have you had that as a quote that you like and prefer?
I don't know, a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your contribution.
You're welcome.
Here's your certificate of.
Thank you.
Second is Jocelyn Hasty. Jocelyn, quote, we teach best what we most need to learn.
Yes.
Richard Bach, is that the same one that did the seagull?
Yes, that's correct. That's quite correct.
Talk to us.
Talk to us. That particular quote really rings home for me as I'm moving out of my previous incarnation as a chartered public accountant and into the role as trainer. What I've particularly been most interested in teaching is those things that I feel I need to learn because they're easy to study. And it's easy to remain interested enough to develop the expertise that would really allow me to be a good presenter and a good trainer.
Fellow Toastmasters, Jocelyn Hasty. Our third speaker today was a little boy named Mark Kulke. Mark, your favorite quote, I get to choose how I react to what is happening to me.
Yes. That's a quote by somebody who was mentioned earlier tonight, Viktor Frankl, from his book, Man's Search for Meaning. And it was given to me by a good friend about 25 years ago. She said, read this. And I read it, and it changed me a lot. So I just found that particular quote, among many good ones in that book, really spoke to me. And it's that message for when, why me? What's going wrong? Or I'm upset. I realize that I may not be able to control what goes on, but I can control how I react. So yes, I accept the first prize tonight.
Our fourth speaker today was Brent Hopkins.
Down there.
You never say never.
Never say never. As soon as I say never, guess what happens? It happens. And that's the way my life has always been. It's when I was younger, this was unheard of to be up in front of a bunch of people speaking. I said never. Here I am.
Speaker number 5, Flo Sherpanice. Hi, Flo.
Hi, Ray.
It says here, there's no such thing as a failure. Failure is just life trying to move us in a different direction by some, well, it is International Women's Day, isn't it? So evidently Oprah said that. Talk to us.
Isn't it wonderful to know that there's no such thing as failure? Instead, failure is life trying to move us in a different direction. My God, sometimes it is hard. It is hard. I'm in a professional transition at this time, and I'm trying to change and redirect the trajectory of my career from a sales and marketing focus to more education focus. And it is hard, I gotta say. But it heartens me in this valley of challenge to know that there's no failure, because it's all about that progress. It's about that stepwise improvement and growth, not necessarily perfection right off the bat. So, a final favorite quote of mine, I think it was Robin Williams who said, "An empty stomach, an empty wallet, and a broken heart can teach you the best lessons in life."
Our speaker number 6 was Russ Dantu. Now, Russ tells me that the elevator to success is out of order.
You'll have to take the stairs one step at a time. By Joe Girard. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's greatest salesperson. He sold over 13,000 used cars in a period of about 12 years. And he didn't even have a high school education. So he's one of my sort of heroes in the sales world as well. And I don't know about you, but I've had nothing handed to me on a silver platter, so we've just got to work hard at it. And I think it's more rewarding when we do.
And our 7th speaker was Leonard Quilty. Leonard, there was a guy named Paul of Tarsus who felt a need to write a letter to the people of Philippi. And he said, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me."
Mm-hmm. That is my favorite quote, and at my core, my faith is really, really important to me. But when I think about faith and the Bible, I think about another quote that really resonates with me, and maybe you've heard it too. It says, "We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience." So I totally subscribe to that quote. That's one of my favorites.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more tribute to our speakers. Every time I've been in a contest as a competitor, as a contestant, I've always learned something. I'm not sure how much I learned about speaking, but I sure learned a lot about me. And that is, as someone said, it's when our wallet is empty when our heart is broken, and when our belly is hungry, that's when life really speaks to us. But it also speaks to us at the time, or it can, when our wallet is full and our belly is full and our life is full. And I think that tonight we have just heard from 7 people who are full of Toastmasters, full of life, and they are a blessing to this evening. And I want to thank you as I turn this back to our contest chair.
One more time for our contestants. So who wants to know who won?
Yeah.
Well, that's no excitement. Before we get to that point in the evening, I'd like to bring up Carol.
You want my last name?
Dite. I know your last name's Dite. To have a few comments.
Comments? Okay, the results. Yes. Okay.
For the core results from Carol.
Are they?
Yes.
They're coming to the, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to pick B? And then that's all you want me to talk?
Yeah, that's it.
I only have one short sentence. This contest, as in others, were all timed and everything was done and kept track. And we had one-time disqualification. That's all.
All right.
There you go.
The magic letters. To announce our winners, I would like Lynn Herzog and Dunstan Taylor to come up.
Fellow Toastmasters, I would like to see all who are here for the first time. You're not a member of Toastmasters, you're a guest. Please stand up. Guests, please stand up. Please stand up. Yeah, stand up if you're a guest. Yeah, thank you very much. You are one of the most important person in this room. The other people, they know this procedure. We thank you for coming. We thank you for being part of our team. We're looking forward to any questions you may have. There's a lot of people here who can support you. And hopefully you can join us later on in your journey of life. Thank you very much.
Well, the time has come. We are going to announce our winners. Come on. The third place winner of our speech contest is Jocelyn Hasty.
There's the burner. Yes, there's the burner.
Wave to Richard.
Hello, Richard.
Richard, can you do me a favor, please? Because that picture, if it goes out and TI sees it with the wrong banner, I get into trouble as a district officer. This is the flag. So take that picture back. I have to follow district rules. This is the banner. Take that picture again, please.
Duck.
It's a fox, not a duck.
Our second place contestant winner is Flo Sherperny. Drum roll, please.
Super drum roll. Super drum roll.
The first place winner of MVP's International Speech Contest is Russ Danton.
Yes. Okay.
Upside down.
It's the official.
She just touched my bum.
I did. I put it the wrong way.
I'm liking this contest thing.
Oh, don't leave yet. Guys, could you come please? Let's do the group picture, please. So
We're doing this. You can be on that side. What about the banner?
I'll stand on this side.
Oh, geez.
I'm just going to do a video if you keep doing that.
All right, now make a pyramid.
Guess I better be on the bottom then.
Before I hand over to the Toastmaster to give you guys your final blessings, we're in church. I would like every member of this group, if possible, do whatever you can to support the district and go to the district conference. Can somebody tell me when is that conference?
End of April.
I cannot hear you.
End of April.
Thank you very much. For those of you who do not know, please go to d42tm.org and find out more information. Who will be our guest keynote speaker?
Ready.
Awesome. I saw her in Vancouver in the international conference. Believe me, she's gonna make you pee your pants. She is that good. You will laugh your head off. So I encourage you, take a friend, take a member, invite somebody to the conference. Thank you very much. Mr. Toastmaster.
The speaking journey for our evaluation contest winners and our international contest winners is not over. It has just begun at the club level. From 2 weeks ago, we have Teresa Merrifield and Susan Kramer moving on. We have from tonight Russ Dantu and Flo Sherpenis moving on. Yay! The next step is where? Area. When? March 21st. Where? Singles and Friends. And so most of the crowd in here already knows. How many are going to go see them? Yes, we need more hands. Let's go support our club winners. Any announcements before I let you run away?
Join us for drinks at Cattle Baron.
Russ is buying. Thank you.
You might set the calendar for April 7th, the Division A contest.
April 7th is Division A contest. Saturday. And then the district conference, or district contest, is at the conference. No other announcements? Russ is buying.